Y'all want to get started? Everyone else is
Yeah,
recording. So, okay, so awesome. So I'm Justin, co-founder of Magnoli. Thanks everybody for joining us. Software can do a lot of things for you, right? You can track your employee and customer behavior, can manage your orders, run reports, blah, 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 but there's limitations, like you can't press your pants for you or teach somebody how to press those pants or keep them accountable, right? So our main job as business leaders is to provide structure and clarity, so we're not doing everything ourselves, and we could create this organization that, leads itself almost, right? And so, that takes a lot of elbow grease, and it's something that can't be automated. And so we brought in Ricardo today to talk about that. And so, Ricardo, you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah.
Who is Ricardo Torres?
Yeah, thank you, Justin. I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you everybody for showing up to this. I always feel honored and privileged to speak alongside dry cleaning owners and folks in the industry, because you guys have been doing it a very long time, with the exception of Michael. Michael, welcome. I got you beat, man, just by a little bit. I've known Justin for several years, good friend of mine. Quick background on me, guys. Ricardo Torres. I live in Tampa, Florida. I own Tiffany Couture Cleaners, couture dry cleaner out of Las Vegas, so right down the road from Justin. But we don't consider ourselves competitors. We consider ourselves collaborators. So thanks for that post earlier, Justin. I thought that was really nice, man. I own the Carpet Monkeys, which is a carpet, tile, and grout air duct cleaning company in Las Vegas as well. I'll tell you a story later about how I wanted to cross-pollinate clients from dry cleaning to carpets and back. By trade, I'm an instructor pilot in the United States Air Force. I still am. I'm current and qualified. I fly the T6 Texan currently, which is to teach new students, combat aviators, America's Next Generation Forum. So I'm an undergraduate pilot training instructor pilot. I flew the T-38 Talon and the A-10 Warthog. I've been in the Air Force for 12 years now, and I left active duty to transition to the reserve status about 2 years ago. I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and I'm a real estate investor. I own a couple of apartment complexes in South Carolina. My family and I live here in Tampa, and I go back to Las Vegas once a month. And I don't know, I think one of my big mottos, guys, is I'm really big about transparency and authenticity, and I don't pretend to know everything, but there's one thing that I'm very avid and adamant about, and that is trying to work smarter and not harder. And I think that may be one of the reasons you asked me on today, Justin. So again, privileged, very grateful to be here, and hope to impart maybe a little bit of value from a fresh set of eyes that has not grown up in the dry cleaning industry, but that is running a business that is doing pretty well without me in the thick of it every single day.
Awesome. Thanks, Ricardo. And quick plug for Ricardo here, guys. If you look at the pinned comments in the chat, there's a link to his war room, and next one's what, September 2nd?
Yeah, September 2nd, I lead the War Room. I provide small business consulting to a large network on Facebook, and quite frankly, off of Facebook as well, called Blue Collar Millionaire. If you're not part of it, I'm going to look you guys up and befriend you on Facebook if you don't mind, and maybe LinkedIn. I'll share some more info with you. But I think one of the big elements of what that is about, Justin, is helping business owners across blue collar spaces in general scale their business and become an absentee owner, where you don't have to work on in the business, but instead on the business. I delight in working alongside a lot of different business owners and entrepreneurs to try to help them out there.
Yeah, and I think that's very hard for a lot of us. I was born and raised in dry cleaning, and my parents had to do everything themselves because they couldn't trust anyone else, right?
Yeah.
It's a difficult mindset to get out of, because you can't scale that way, obviously, and you just break your back all day. And so if I'm a owner operator who's just wearing every single hat, like I'm the dry cleaner, I'm the maintainer, I'm the front counter, the driver, whatever, right? Like, how the heck do I get started?
Yeah, that's the age-old question, isn't it? And by the way, guys, I want this to be a very informal, like free-flowing, like you could raise your hand or go off mute and ask a question at any given time, please. I don't want it to be all stuffy and formal. Justin, I think you're asking the most important question, and that is, how do I get out of my own way? I think there's a lot of different elements to that conversation that we have to unpack. I think number one, there is some emotional and psychological acceptance that you're not the best at what you do, not everything that you do. So the sooner you can recognize that, the sooner you can get out of your own way in identifying this notion that you can piecemeal together success by bringing the right team together, and you don't have to do everything. So it first starts with the acceptance that you can't do everything and scale and grow your business. Number one, in the velocity or in the time that it's going to take for you to maybe achieve your goals. Number two, there's a really big element here that I want to touch on, and I've been speaking at this at expos, in conversations with dry cleaning owners. We have to get smarter on what we understand and know our business to be in terms of its enterprise value. If we're not using terms like adjusted EBITDA, or we're not talking about seller discretionary earnings and understanding what equity we have in our business, we're behind the 8 ball. And I'm not just saying it because everyone wants to sell. No, but I believe that everyone should have a sellable business at any given time. And the sooner you get to a point to where you know you have a sellable business, the stronger of a position your business is in. So that way, if you do decide to sell at 55 or at 65 or at 44, you don't have to shore up your business for 3 years on these profit and loss statements that a broker is going to tell you, hey, I know you want to sell right now because there's somebody in your family who's not healthy. That's an unfortunate circumstance that I know a dry cleaning owner is going through right now. Or, hey, I know you want to sell because you want to retire sooner than you thought and you're going through some family issues. No, can you just show me your P&L year to date and we can look at your last 2 years and you've been running a strong, clean business, right? So I think the first part is the emotional and psychological acceptance that you can't do everything alone. Number two, I think it's understanding what it means to know your target equity valuation. And then number three, it's actually putting where the rubber hits the road. And we always talk about it, SOPs, 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 right? If everything that you are doing lives in your head, number one, you're going to sleep better when you get that out of your head and you put it on paper and you train some people on how to do it. But it needs to live in a document. It needs to live on a SharePoint, and you got to write that stuff down. And don't think that you're going to, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. What I would recommend to a business owner, to long story longer here, is to write down the top 3 things that your business is reliant upon you for. And let's answer the question as to whether or not that can be delegated. If it can be delegated, then you need to write out a standard operating procedure. 1, 2, identify who that responsible party is, a POC. And then 3, establish a KPI or a key performance indicator that is going to hold them accountable to what your expectations are. And then number 4, you need to live out holding them accountable to that through job responsibility and monthly one-on-ones. So that's a very a lot to unpack in 4 different elements there, but that's how you get after it, Justin, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think one thing I struggle with documentation is having it not be a constraint to or a bottleneck to my operation, and so how do you guys tackle that at Tiffany's, right? Because if you're trying to do something but you have to check it off every time, it's almost impractical, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, and so where's that fine line?
Yeah, it's a tough fine line because in theory there's a lot that we can write down and we can try to get after, right? What I do personally, my philosophy, when I bought Tiffany Couture Cleaners in 2023, you guys got to understand, I bought it from a very excellent couple who had owned it for decades. It was in the Del Rossi family since 1970. Everything lived in Dan and Judy's head, but I recognized that when I went in. And so I had to then spend a lot of time extracting that from their noggins and then recording it audio and putting it on paper. And then I kind of spent some time immersing myself in the business to identify what the top 5 priorities were. And then I kind of went after it priority after priority after priority. And then, but not everything can be automated though, Justin. That's the thing, man. just because we have AI guys doesn't mean that everything needs to be done through AI. AI misses the mark in so many respects, man. Like there's a human is required for a lot of things. In fact, you're going to get the authenticity, you're going to get communication from a human. But if it's a tedious task, I'll give you an example, man. Payroll. Payroll lived in Dan's mind for so long, and we were able to create a sophisticated calculator through ChatGPT that allows for us to extract Spot. Sorry, Justin, we use Spot. Extract from Spot a report midweek that allows for us to identify whether we're trending on overtime or not, right? And I bumped that up against piece count in our inventory to identify if it's a real requirement that needs to be met or not. But if it's not, based on trend data, this report is going to tell me that. So that's one example of how we're getting after reducing the owner or the owners to handle payroll and delegate that down to general management. So then the GM just sends me something on a Sunday every 2 weeks, what's all tied up with a bow on it. And I look at it and I give it the approval or the disapproval. It's always an approval because people need to get paid, but I have questions, right? So that's one example of how we've gotten after it through the use of ChatGPT.
Yeah, you'd save a lot of steps with Magnoli. We do all that too. Quick plug. That's very interesting. Yeah, because that's really the only variable we can control, right? It's like the people and the labor, right? And so I
want to ask a question, if you don't mind, Justin, just to the audience, the folks listening. Who here has experience actually going forward with 3 SOPs that you then delegated to someone and are holding them accountable for, or 1 SOP, something like that? I'm curious as to kind of what the audience is seeing and what you guys have made progress with from that perspective.
You know, Ricardo, I think this is Sasan. Great to see all of you guys here, man.
Yeah, likewise.
I think, it's funny. Passing the baton to somebody else has been great, and frankly, I think that's the easier part. The challenging part is getting him to be held accountable, which is on me, but also at the same time, sometimes I find that whether if I have not given them the right tools or done the right training for them and whatnot, I think that's always in the back of my head, at least, is are they doing it as I would, which inevitably ends up being, the bottleneck. We always feel as owners and operators, we always feel like we know the best way, and we know all of that. Trusting that next caretaker of whatever that task is that's where you have to kind of jump off the cliff and hope that the parachute opens.
Yeah. And that's thanks for the vulnerability there, because you're right. I agree with you, Sasan. I think it's easier to accept emotionally and psychologically that you are perhaps the bottleneck and that you need to do it, and then you do it. But the hard part is holding them accountable to your standards, because perhaps you did that better than they do. And you may want to revert back to doing it yourself. But that's where I think we have to challenge each other, is that they can get better as well. And while I'm talking, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna share my screen here in a minute, and I'm gonna show you a tool that I use that I created myself, which I call Management Core Competencies. And this was me getting after what it looked like to train my general manager on an assortment of different things. Alex, do you mind if I share my screen really fast? Do I have the capability to do that here? I'm going to do it anyways.
You should have the capability.
Okay.
Let me know.
Window Management Core Competencies. Okay. I'm going to show you guys this really fast, Sasan, and this may help you get after something. I'm going to tell you, representing, show my screen. Show just a chat. Okay. Can you guys see my my screen here, Quarterly Management Competencies? Okay. All right, cool. So this is me replicating 5 different issues that took place for me in Q1 of 2025, 5 different subjects that I needed my general manager to get really, really good at. Now, spoiler alert, guys, just because I come up with 5 doesn't mean that he or she is going to become an expert at those in this given time frame, right? No, you shoot for the stars, you hit the moon. For me, I had the subject of lot management, production, wet cleaning, plant ops, payroll management, and driving a route on here. I wrote down what the demonstrated skill needed to be: able to run a route with little to no supervision, able to assist with the retail route and provide key talking points while doing so, able to describe digital manifest, route structure, and interact with clients to provide excellent client care, maximizes the opportunity to drop off or pick up items, able to sell out orders. Some of this stuff is simple, guys, right? For me, I identified what a demonstrated skill or behavior looked like with this category and this description. I then broke it out based on what this person needed to do to drive a route. Achieving this involves training provided by Ben, our lead driver. This action and training is especially critical as it provides you the training for our single most potential failure, Ben's absence. The manager must be familiar with this route in the event Ben calls out or is unable to drive the route. If you can drive the retail route, you can drive a residential route. Demonstrates familiarization in sorting the route, navigating the route, and interacting with clients along the way. I said that there was a training commitment requirement of 5 routes or 5 delivery days and 40 hours, Sasan. So my goal here was to demonstrate proficiency by running a complete route with ownership ride-along, and I did a ride-along with my GM. This down here represents a task sheet that this person goes in and says, I drove a route on this day. It was this quick notes, 8 hours. Here's the date, and you did it over and over and over again, right? That is a start, guys, for how you get after driving a route or lot management and production. So think about any, and I'm going to stop sharing here for a moment because I want to, the goal is, and the focus is not that, but instead how you get after some of this stuff. But, you know, when we think about holding somebody accountable to stuff, it is an ongoing process. It's going to take quite a while. You do need to back it up with some paperwork, likely. You need to back it up with a level of professionalism and constant communications. Hard schedule in your calendar every 2 weeks on a bi-weekly one-on-one, and you go back to that document, to that product that I just showed you, and say, how many times have you actually done this? Because at the end of the day, guys, you're not going to get 100% product. You're likely going to get a 75% product. You need to be okay with that. We refine the next 25% over the next 6 months to a year, and those are the nuanced conversations that you have. Those are the idiosyncrasies that are conversations that you guys have that gives him what I call situational awareness. So I hope that provided a little bit. You're right. I agree with you. I think that accountability is the most challenging piece, but you have to get after that with a product and a plan.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You can bet I'll be hitting you up on that soon.
Yeah, please do. I'm happy to share that, guys.
Yeah, I think another important piece to this is us as business owners to cast our vision. You know, a lot of our employees don't really see, you know, past the horizon, to just see what's in front of their feet, right? And to let them know, like, hey, this isn't a dead-end job. Like, there's a lot of room to grow. This is what I'm doing. You know, this is what I see our business being in 5-10 years, right? Help me build this.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's an important aspect too. So that, you know, what I tell my folks is document, train, and yeah, document and train yourself out of that job, because then, you know, there's a better one waiting for you, right? And so it's constant pipeline of growth for each individual, right?
Yeah. And know what motivates your people too, right? Like my GM personally, guys, is not motivated by money. He just is not. My GM is motivated by consistency, pride in his work, and fulfillment. So our conversations are geared towards that. I do share profit sharing with him, but he could not care less about that. So you got to know if someone's motivated by money, well, then maybe carve out a little bit of profit sharing after net cash flow. Fence off 95% for you, your business, your needs, and then make 5% available, and then establish a goal that he or she can get to and share that with them. That goes a long way, and it involves them in the business. And now you have your KPI is not piece per operating hour. Your KPI is not that granular. Your KPI now is our business cash flowing, man? Because that's where I need it to be. Mm-hmm. You know?
How many layers deep is your organization? So from you.
Oh, so yeah. So you're talking tiers of management in terms of when we get back to get down to production?
Correct.
So there's me, and then there's my GM, Mike, and then there's my OM, my operations manager, Julie. So me, Mike, Julie, and then to the left of Julie is my CRM, my client relationship manager, and she handles think office management / interactions with vendors, clients, all that stuff. And then below that, you begin to break out pressers, dry clean, wet clean, CSRs, route drivers, et cetera. So I'd say I got 3 levels of management that are really standing in the way of me having to jump on a grenade.
Mm-hmm. And who's in charge of training?
Yeah, so training is actually taken up by 2 folks, with the operations manager and the client relationship manager. Mm-hmm. They both oversee training, and then they report up to Mike, who reports up through me. Now, I'll be straight up with you guys. I've got, and I know you do too, Justin, military experience. We follow the chain of command at Tiffany Couture Cleaners. So it's a faux pas if one of the employees comes directly to me for something. Now, I have an open door policy, and it just so happens I speak Spanish. So when I go back to my plant, everybody wants to speak in Espanol. So we start chatting it up, and then they're like, "Hey, Ricardo, I need to talk to you about my pay." And I'm like, "No, you got to go through Julie and then Mike for that, remember?" But so to answer your question, it's 2 folks. It's my my CRM and my OM that handle it, and they report up through Mike. Yeah.
Hey, Ricardo, this is Dino Kentavalos from TSU Wet Cleaners up here in Toronto. How you doing?
Hey, man.
Great topic, by the way. Thanks, Justin and Alex, for putting this together. How many employees do you have, Ricardo?
33 employees.
33. And you have one main plant that you distribute everything to through routes and through pickup and drop-off stores, or?
Yes, one main plant. 82% of my revenue comes from route pickup and delivery, and I have one drop store, and that accounts for 18% of my revenue.
And have you switched? Because I heard you earlier say that you were implementing some stuff from Spot Explorer. Are you all on Magnoli now, or are you still with Spot?
No, I'm still with Spot. Yeah,
okay.
I'm still with Spot. Don't get upset at me, Justin, right now. I'm with Spot. We've been with Spot for a very long time. But yeah,
great company. They're a great company, man. They definitely know what they're doing too.
Yeah.
Sorry to get personal. I just,
no.
we have a 12-employee operation, one plant, and my route counter is 50-50 right now.
Okay.
But it took me almost 10 years to get to the 50% mark.
Got it.
Because it was the most difficult thing to do is build a route. You know what I mean? It takes forever.
How did you do that? Can you share that with us? Because this was going to be something that I wanted to talk about.
Honestly, dude, I mean, I'm hands-on. I'm not as hands-on as I was. I've been here almost 40 years. So, I mean, I just started one day, and we just put it out there, and it's like, listen, man, we're going to do this come hell or high water, and we're going to figure it out. Obviously, a lot of peaks and valleys, some mistakes. Obviously, that's where you learn the most from. Yeah. And, we had one delivery day, and then we had a second delivery day, and then we added a third one, a fourth one. And we've decided to keep Thursday as our only dark day for no deliveries, only because I am still hands-on, and I need to be in the plant at times, and I don't want to have the responsibility to have the 5 days dedicated to driving, although we're in the process of filling in the 5th day now. Just trying to finalize a couple of deals right here that are gonna require the Thursday. But the real hard part was, getting out there. Yeah. Doing the physical, like it's the grind, right? It's the hustle, it's the grind. And, and it's kind of discouraging after like 6 months where you got like 5 calls on a day, but you're dedicating like 5-6 hours in the truck. You know what I mean? So, but sure. It's one of those things where if you want it, man, you have to stick to it. It doesn't grow on trees, a route. It's cultivated.
You got to put the effort in. There's a couple of different ways. I'm a huge proponent, guys, of calling, door knocking, whatever it takes, right? Because at the end of the day, the triangle to success for a dry cleaning owner, in my opinion, is you have to have excellent customer care, you have to have quality, and you have to have standardization. The standardization I mean is when I go get my pants pressed with you and dry cleaned with you in January, they should look and feel the same as they do in July, as they do the next year. The customer care needs to be so good that if you have a defect in the standardization or the quality, they're going to have a relationship built with you, and they're going to fall back and say, you guys are just great. Have you ever done that? You ever gone to a restaurant and you know that they're having an off day and you don't judge them for it? You're like, these people are the best. The steak wasn't the best today. I'm going to keep coming back, right? That's the equivalent. So there's two ways that I get after the route expansion, because when we bought Tiffany, we were at 76% route and then 24% drop store and then 76% route. So we've expanded since then. You capture the opportunity to convert your client in the drop store. That means you discourage them from coming into the drop store and you encourage convenience. And then you're able to incentivize that with your CSRs. I personally ran a program in all of 2025, and I incentivized if they can convert someone from pickup and delivery to route, that we would give them $10 per conversion. But that conversion was, the assumption there was that they stayed on route for us for at least 2 months and were not will call, but were scheduled. But it made sense because these were already people who were coming in on Monday and Thursday of every week. So I was like, we're going to put you on route. We love your smiling face, but we'd like to come to you, especially some of your aging clients who are having difficulties, right? We don't have a handicap parking spot up front as a fire lane. So we found a way to get around that. And then the second is you got to be willing to share a little bit of that cash flow with non-productive labor to get after that goal, that endeavor. I have a full-time driver now, a driver who prospects every day for me. He goes all around Las Vegas and he knocks on doors. He goes to chiropractors. He goes to ice cream, the high-end ice cream shops. He goes to retail stores. He goes into the residential neighborhoods. Now, we don't solicit where you shouldn't be soliciting, but the opposite of out of sight, out of mind is inside in mind. So they see a Tiffany van, they're like, hey, I'm in this really nice neighborhood. Do you have a brochure or a flyer? Absolutely. Not only do we have that, but I have a bag right now. I could take some of your dry cleaning and give me the opportunity. We'll bring it back on Thursday. He brings back like 2 or 3 bags a day doing that. So there's this mentality shift that I think we have to have, and that is an abundance mentality. We have to put ourselves out there a little bit, put an incentive program together to work. Here's the deal. If they convert and they don't meet those assumptions, you never part ways with that $10. But conversely, your CSR has an opportunity, if they're making $15 an hour, to make 2/3 of an hourly pay in one conversion. They'll make some money doing it, and you will too.
And curious, Ricardo, if you don't mind sharing, what is your incentive program for your sales guy?
Yeah, so Ben is excellent. I think he's a little OCD, which is a great attribute to have in sales, right? Or ADHD, whatever you want to call it, right? So Ben gets 3% of all gross revenue that comes in from whatever he sells. And I don't dilute that. I keep it as long as the client stays on board.
And then is he in charge of customer interactions? If there's a problem, are they calling Ben?
In the early stages, they call Ben. When the bags are created and they are given their driver who's on route, then they work with that driver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that alleviates Ben's, because it would be Herculean after that, right? Ben would be like, I got to call for Prada, I got to go over here to Mr. McMichael, Yeah. So Ben handles them in the early stages. Ben, when he prospects, he comes back with all the data. We sort through the data, and then Ben has a desktop and an email address with us and business cards, and he calls and follows up on these people after a certain period of time to lock them in.
Mm-hmm. Is he full-time with you, or is he a contractor, or?
No, he's full-time.
Full-time, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's full-time. In fact, Ben is my best route driver, and just had a propensity in this drive to want to do more. And I said, Ben, I'm going to hire a replacement I can't ever replace you, but I'm going to hire someone to run your retail routes. I need you to train them. He trained them for 2 months, and Ben stepped out of that role. So now if Eric is missing, and he's a pinch hitter, right? He's a backup driver. So I say he's doing it 5 days a week, but on average, if someone calls in sick or something, we have a backup driver that doesn't require a manager or an owner to go run that route.
Yeah, so I like how you kind of put it together. So you gave Ben an incentive, to grow, right, and lead sales, but to do so, he had to create a training program, right, and train his replacement first, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And you know, and because that shows that accountability, right?
Yeah.
Because we should always be that same mentality we should foster ourselves to train our replacement.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so it's interesting because I'm doing something similar. So my leadership team, I have one in charge of retail and one in charge of our plant, right? And I have a commission structure where it's 30% of the delta in route revenue, right?
Okay.
And then 40% and then 50%, you know, if they continue on that streak, right? And so it's pretty lucrative, right? But it's a one-time payment, right? It's that delta for that month.
Yeah.
But it behooves them to train their people, their staff on the jobs they're doing so that they have more time to make sales.
Yes, 100%. I love that philosophy. I mean, you're expecting more out of them while giving them the platform to go do the job and to go do their thing.
Right. So it's on their own prerogative, right?
Yes.
More entrepreneurial that way. And I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, money talks, right? And so a way to, like you said, abundance mentality, a way to share that pot in a way that grows the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's best for you as a business owner.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys something too. You know, I'm in the game of a high average price per piece. That's where I'm at. That's where I play. And it's my sandbox. I like it. And there exists something called price elasticity. Price elasticity is this notion, Justin, that because you make a lot of money, you're more willing to pay on a price increase than somebody who doesn't make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Alex Hormozy talks about this in $100 million deals, this race to the bottom, right? So, and I think that this plagues a lot of dry cleaning owners, and I don't think it's many of us on the call that this plagues, but this notion that you would increase volume and decrease your average price per piece, that you're going to catch up and it's going to be fine. You're just going to keep racing to the bottom. And it's an economic game that you don't want to play. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because when we think about these new clients that we want, and we were game planning this call, you know, the week leading up to this, and I've been thinking about this. You know, I have a lot of excellent clients. These clients are excellent, and these clients are rich, they're affluent, and they have friends. So one of the things I wanted to touch on briefly was, this is a way to recapture revenue, is go identify, and I think Magnoli has an option to see your top 20% of customers or your top 100 customers, correct, Justin, on a report?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's child's play, right? So you guys have that. Run that report and identify who those people are and find their trends and reach out to them. I do a custom letter to Mr. Fertitta, Frank Fertitta. Listen, I want to thank you for your patronage. You guys are awesome. You've been with us for X amount of time. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you how appreciative I was of you. You know, I'm writing this with a picture of our plant and our employees at the Christmas party, and just wanted to let you know, as a token of our appreciation, I'm knocking $100 off your next month's bill, and I'm going to ask that you send a friend our way. And when you do send a friend our way, I'm going to keep incentivizing you, and you find what works for your business. But let me tell you, when the rich refer their friends, or when somebody consistent on your squad refers their friends who are like-minded, that in and of itself is advertisement, and that allows for your business to continue to grow. Because once Justin refers Alex no longer needs to keep speaking to Justin about Tiffany Couture Cleaners or Al Phillips providing dry cleaning to him. He is independent now, and that's a revenue stream for you. So we have to look at what we currently have, not always this wide lake or this wide ocean of new fish. Go to who you have, magnify that. There's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, and you know, with all these features that are available now, like you know, trigger-based marketing, you know, automations with SMS, whatever, you know, at the end of the day, or Google Ads, right? At the end of the day, word of mouth is your most powerful tool.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
Advertising, and you know, we do that in Magnoli by you know, having different checklists for different customers to be able to sign off on things like that. You know. So going back to that strategy, so, and tying it back to org structure. So who leads that, and what does success look like?
Yeah.
Is it on the deliverable, like how much money came in, or is it on the effort, like how many letters were sent out, right? And is one person doing it, or, you know, is one person leading it with the team?
Yeah. This is a bit ambiguous because it's hard to attach a KPI to this one.
Right.
This is a more altruistic endeavor, Justin. This one, I don't care if somebody doesn't respond to it. It's all good. Why? Because it's kind. it's respectful, it's reputational, there's a brand associated with it. I delegate the task to my GM, and my GM delegates that task to Danny, my customer relationship manager. And she goes in, she runs the report, she gets all the letterheads ready. And then when I go visit, I go back once a month, guys. I spent about 3 days there. I will sign all of them, and we do a nice little picture or whatever. And it's nice. So, you know, I don't go back and spend 2 hours assessing who came back, though I do look at new customer signups every week with my team, and I know there's dots connected between our endeavors and what we're doing. Yeah, because it's look, you know, they're going to get something in the mail from Tiffany Couture Cleaners, and you know, dry cleaners don't typically mail things to clients, so the likelihood that they open it from you is way greater. So, guys, you see insurance paperwork, right? You see banks and credit cards sending you stuff all the time. That's like a dime a dozen are sending those. Dry cleaners, no one is sending those. So you're welcome. Send stuff. It'll work. I promise you. They'll open it.
Do you handwrite the addresses on the?
No, I don't handwrite.
Oh wow. Okay.
No, that'd be too much.
When it's handwritten, then I open it. But if it's
Yeah.
not, yeah.
But again, if a dry cleaner had Justin Koh printed out and sent it to your address, there's probably a good likelihood you're going to open that, right? Yeah. That would be a little bit much. So yeah, we do that. We identify, you know, our top 20% of our clients every year. That's one of the endeavors that we run, and it's been successful for us in terms of new clients signing up, because I know there's connections to be made there. And then one other element, does anybody do a lost tuna report? Does anybody go back to clients that they haven't seen in a little while? I'm curious if anybody on the call has done anything like that.
Oh yeah. To me, I look at that KPI more than I look at new customers.
Yeah.
100%. I think we've found the trick to that, I think we found, is to go back to them a lot earlier than waiting for it to just be a complete lost cause. So,
How soon?
I'd say within a month. Your lost tunas, they're I mean, your big tunas are if you don't see them maybe they may be on vacation for a few weeks, so that's okay. But I think if we go you know, a month, that may be at that point it may be too late already. So, you know, it really depends, I think, on their level of usage. If you have a client that's consistent with you, you know, any upwards of $800 to $1,000 a month, which we have, if I don't see them in a month, something's up.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if it's you know, a steady long-term 20-year customer who spends, you know, $100 to $200 a month, if I don't see them for a few weeks or a month, that's not too concerning yet until, you know, we go further. So but the big ones, I wouldn't wait past 30 days.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really good. What are you risking by going back to them a little bit early? Maybe that, you know, and how are you going back to them? Is it text, email, phone calls? What are you doing?
99% of them tend to be route customers anyway, so we literally just show up to the door. It becomes part of the driver's job to show them, and if that doesn't work, then we go with a call and a note. You know, and so we found that just showing up to the door is shows them that we care.
Yes.
You know, and so we do that.
Yeah, I like that. And listen, when you show up to their door, everybody has dirty laundry in their house at any given time, right? Except my mom. She does laundry all the time. She's an old Latina woman. She just does it. You can eat off the floors. But there's a likelihood that you show up and you're like, you know what? Give me 1 sec. Let me go get my suit, or let me go get this top. Can I give it to you right now? Absolutely. That's what we're here for, right? It's insight in mind. And I think that's really critical.
For sure.
I wanted to say something. I've met with a lot of dry cleaning owners, and I'm curious as to what your guys' thoughts are. This is something we talk about in War Room a lot. Who finds that a big challenge in getting out of their way is your organization, your ability to kind of keep your thoughts organized, your calendar organized, and actually that being the catalyst towards holding people accountable. Does anybody struggle with that here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna share a hack with you guys, and this is AI works really well with this. So yeah, Caitlin. Okay. Yeah, me too. So this is Plod. I have a little card here. It goes to the back of my phone. When I have phone calls, of course, I ask people if I can record it, and I do, and they say yes, it's fine. But I'm recording this right now. You can see, and AI allows for you to have all these notes. There's like 10 note takers on the call with us right now. I think a lot of times, guys, we're not even using any of those notes. So what I want to encourage you to do is this. I'm going to give you a little bit of my playbook that works for me, and my employees and my teammates are probably, one, surprised that I remember things. It's not me, it's AI. And two, probably pissed off that Ricardo is bringing stuff up that like, I spoke to you like for 10 seconds about that and I committed to something, right? So take your AI notes. So either hold your meetings on Teams or Zoom or in person. If you do them in person, use Plod, P-L-A-U-D, and record it. When it's done being recorded, it'll give you a transcript or a synopsis. Take that transcript and put it into ChatGPT or whatever you like to use and say, give it a similar prompt. Take this meeting and provide a format or a matrix for our next meeting, identifying key responsibilities based on how today's conversation went. Extract for me all the details that I need and make it clear as to who the POC is that is responsible for it. So when you do that, it's going to pump out this document, guys. That document should be your format and your compass for how you handle your next meeting. And do that every week. You're going to find that there is going to be a rhythm and a cadence that you establish. Did I hit record? I did hit record. Is Randy tracking his responsibility? Is Caitlin? Is Rick? I am too. We talk about the things that we know we need to talk about based on previous phone call or meeting, right? So we're talking about relevant things that are taking place. New stuff is being brought up. And then every week you have this new template by which you keep everybody organized. And I can tell you it's huge. When I start my meetings, I have two meetings. I have a Tuesday sync that lasts 30 minutes. It's a phone call with my management team. And then I have a Thursday operations meeting. It lasts 1 hour. We start off with operations and we go from lot management, what's being held up, what are the bottlenecks for what's being held up. And then we go to fleet, facility, and maintenance. So we talk about the fleet, we talk about the facility of our plant, and then any maintenance issues that are outstanding. And ultimately, we transition to the customer and the office experience. And that's kind of HR stuff, personnel issues, time off. And then the final thing is we do a 60-day outlook. So I look at our calendar for 60 days and I see who has annual reviews coming up, who's off, what major holidays do we have, and are we handling any outside vendor communications appropriately? When you follow that same cadence, we're humans, right? We're kind of Neanderthals a little bit with this. Like, I need you to just tell me to do the same thing over and over again, and I'm going to get better at it. So the sooner you realize that as an owner, and an entrepreneur, the sooner you can modify the team and their expectations to meet your needs and what you ask of them. And I guarantee you it'll work. If it doesn't work at 100%, it'll at least give you a 70% solution. And now you have that Google document or whatever document uploaded to whatever platform or SharePoint that you have, and you already have the template for what you guys are going to talk about. If you do that, if there's nothing else that you take away from this call and you start to do that, you will organize yourself in a significant way, and it's going to bring more clarity to what you're doing. And eventually you're going to look at this document and be like, why am I the POC for this every single week? Mary, is this something that you can do? I know you can. You have a review coming, especially guys, when we're doing our annual reviews with management and stuff, and you see that they're crushing it every single year, you should be giving them more. Give them more responsibility. They want that. They want purpose. They want to move the needle. I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think organizing is so huge because it's like, on top of all the projects and, we have to grow our business, like we have our day jobs, right? Like your plant manager still has to, make sure that orders are being fulfilled and et cetera. And so writing it down is huge. I don't know how many of you guys use a project management tool. So like what I do in my weekly staff meetings is I only assign like a few things at once, right? Assign a owner, it belongs to whatever category. And there's a lot of free tools like Trello and Jira, Magnoli has one, but you could use whatever. And, I try not to assign more than like 1 or 2 tasks at a time, because if you just have like, oh, I got to do like 50 things at once, right? Then none of them are going to get done. You'll go an inch deep versus just a mile deep in one, right? And so that's what I try to create that pipeline, right? And we review that during the meeting, so everyone knows exactly like what's up on the docket for this week and what do I have to deliver on for next week, So
Yeah, the sooner you can make it easy, because they're not going to do it without you.
Yeah,
they're not going to. I mean, you may have a rock star of a manager, but he or she is likely going to have a lot on their plate. This is why, and I talked about this all the time, my philosophy is nose in, hands out. I'm nose in, I ask all the questions. I have the bandwidth available mentally to remember stuff because my hands are not in it. They're doing it. But I continuously remind people of things, and I say, where are we at with this? Do you need any resources? Are you missing anything? Are you missing anything? Is there anything I can help with to make this easier for you? And so the sooner you can do that, the sooner you can continuously point people back to the task at hand or whatever that priority is. And then you are responsible for establishing near rocks, far rocks, right? Near rocks is the biggest priority. Far rocks, we don't have to worry about that. That's a tomorrow problem, and we'll figure it out then. Who's doing, like, is there anybody on the call right now that does have like solid management in place, and you guys are seeing some really good progress in terms of what you've delegated and how your shop is running? Or even the opposite, you could tell me like dumpster fire, Ricardo, need help.
So I don't have any management established right now.
Okay.
I just purchased my store last September.
Congrats.
So thank you. I want to build out a route. I want to get a manager eventually. Right now, our routes, we have probably like 3 customers that infrequently will call me and ask me for pickup and drops offs. They didn't have it before, so I'm trying to build that out.
Okay. Valon, if you don't mind, did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about your business? How many employees do you have? How long has it been around? Tell us a little bit more.
Okay. So my business has been around for over 30 years in the same location. Like I said, I purchased last year. We have 2 pressers. We have 1 counter person, and then my mom helps out with assembling. Okay. Occasionally.
Okay, very nice. And are you?
Oh, and we have 2 counter people. I'm sorry, 2 counter people.
2. And what are your major responsibilities that you're working on right now that's taking your time?
Well, right now we just did a remodel and got some new presses, because we had equipment from like the 70s.
Got it.
So today has been like a fire. So you asked me on the wrong day.
Yeah.
Like the boiler, we had the boiler to turn off. It had some issues this morning with the handholds.
Yeah.
And then the equipment stopped working. So right now I'm kind of putting fires out right now.
But you're on this call though, so good on you.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Okay, how many pieces are you completing per day? Do you know?
I don't know the exact amount, but anywhere under 200. So I think usually between 100 and 200, 250 pieces a day.
Let's get a little more refined on that number. So over time, I'd like for you to challenge yourself to get more familiar with that number. That is going to be a marker as to how your business is growing or if it's contracting, and you'll know what your busy and your slow days are. At your stage, at the size of your dry cleaner, it's a little, I don't want to do a square peg round hole here. So one thing that you need more of is just foot traffic. You need more clients to walk in. You can handle that capacity over time. It's going to build up a little bit, and then you'll know what flags to respond to in terms of, I need another presser, or my dry cleaning side here just needs more help, right? Or hours need to be expanded. Is your Google business profile set up? Are you seeking reviews? Do you have a solid average review rate? Are you corresponding with clients? Are you doing any marketing?
That's a great question. I am corresponding with clients as they come in. Sometimes I'm there at the front desk.
Yeah.
But I have another business also.
Okay.
So the reason why I don't know exactly how many pieces per day is because I have an old antiquated computer system. It's called Dragon Pros or Dragon POS, and I can't figure out. And they told me they couldn't tell me how many pieces per day I'm doing either.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so
Yeah.
I know I need to change software soon.
Yeah.
So I can get narrowed down on that.
Talk to Justin on software, and then let's talk offline on some things. There's some blocking and tackling, what I call unit level economics that a small business owner can implement tomorrow that are going to help you out and help you better get a pulse of the business. Notice some of my questions were geared towards, do you know where you're at with this and this? Because I'm going to challenge you. You have to be the subject matter expert of the business from that perspective before you begin to pull strings, right? And so it sounds like you have really good bones with the business. It's been there a long time. There's probably just a couple of small things you can tweak to increase what that foot traffic looks like. And then you'll be challenged with a different set of problems later, but better problems, if you will, in terms of, all right, how do we handle this new business that we have?
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
Valon,
Yeah.
real quick, Valon, are you on heat seals?
No, we are not. We're on paper tags still. I wish we were on heat seals.
Well, I mean, and I only ask because I purchased the business 2 years ago, and adding heat seals and adding technology is a great way to grow the business and improve your efficiency, improve your accuracy. But it means that you bought a really good opportunity. As much as the business was existing and had a lot of history, because there's an opportunity to add technology to it, that just means you're going to make more money in the future and be more successful.
Yeah, great point, Michael. There's something to be said about meat on the bone for a business. When you identify what that meat is and the low-hanging fruit that you can capitalize on, that's good. You can reposition the business and really draw from that for additional profits over time.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. What questions do you guys have? I don't want to talk the whole time here. Who's got some success stories? What are you guys working on?
Well, I've been working on expanding. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say commercial, expanding. We're doing schools, churches, so trying to expand more in commercial aspect and not just retail.
Yeah, I love that. I'm all about like diversifying your revenue streams because dry cleaning is very seasonal, right? So if you have something that's a little more inelastic, like commercial, right, the trends don't seem to be different than with retail. So like my business is like 60-40, like 40% of my business is B2B. But no, that's great.
Yeah, love that. Michael, what are you working on?
I was going to say it's not a success story, but I'm looking. So again, I'm new to this industry and new to the business, but my route business is only about 10% of my revenue right now, and I'm just trying to figure out. I like what you talked about with the incentive program to convert your existing customers. So I think I'm going to steal that one pretty shamelessly right away. But that's basically what I think from a labor perspective, that's one of the things that hurts me is because my route driver, being transparent, he was inherited employee. He's really good with the customers, but he's not a good salesperson. He doesn't really have the incentive to grow the route. And he's a salaried employee, which means we were on this call and he wrapped up for the day. So out of season, which is about 6 months out of the year, where he should be working 8 to 9 hours a day, he's working 6.
Underutilized.
Yeah, 100%. And he's a young kid. He's 25, 26. I don't know that this is what he wants to do the rest of his life. So I'm on that fence about how to motivate him to do more. But he's also like, well, you're already paying me my salary, so why would I work harder?
Yeah, and he was grandfathered in with the salary, you said?
Correct.
Yeah. I'll just tell you this. This is a psychological thing here, but if you're driven by fear with your employees, it will never succeed. And what I mean by that is to say, if you feel as though you have to keep him on salary, yet he's underutilized in such a significant way, he's never going to want to fill that delta between 6 hours and 8 hours, because why? He's getting paid for the 6 hours on a salary that's a full-time salary, right? So don't be afraid to rock that boat a little bit. And when you do it, you set a precedence with the other employees. I would look for, if not a replacement, what that conversation looks like, to just explain yourself. Hey, I really need you to I would put him to the last 2 hours to prospect every day and bring in new business, and you can incentivize him based off of that, because now at least he's bringing you business as opposed to not.
No, 100%. And I don't disagree. I do admit, yeah, there is a little bit of fear, but I think that was just me getting familiar with the business that first year. Now that I'm, coming through, 18 months of it, now I understand what I need to focus on. And that was one of the priorities. You called it like one of the close stones or close rocks.
Yeah, near
That's
rocks.
what I've been working on. So
Okay, good. I like that. What else, guys? What else are we working on? Caitlin, what are you doing? What are you working on in your business?
So I'm actually the executive director or co-executive director of Heartland Fabric Care Association and Safety and Environmental Compliance Consultants. And then I own another small business outside of there. So all of this is super helpful. We're employing more AI to keep us all on task as we are delegating things to management. We actually had big meetings last week to delegate more to management and really establish clear-cut roles for everyone so that everyone knows who to go to for what, because as the owner and a multi-business owner, I can't do it all. So what you're speaking on is huge.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, guys, we need to be smart about how we understand our industry. Did everybody recently hear that EVI has an interest and is pursuing something with Sudsies out of Miami? Did we hear about that? Any head nods out there? Okay, cool. Yeah, a couple folks. So that's copy Sue. I see that. Yeah, that's a really big signal for our industry, guys. EVI is not private equity. EVI is a publicly traded company that has shown an interest in a dry cleaner. For a long time, we've been in this niche industry that a lot of PE, private equity firms, haven't really taken an interest in because we're just not that large and they don't understand it. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the sooner we can get to understanding our business and moving with the times, i.e., Caitlin, employing AI, agentics, and bots to help reduce our labor, the sooner we can command a higher multiple on what we sell our business for. And so if you haven't spoken about things like adjusted EBITDA and understand your seller discretionary earnings or how to look at your profit and loss statement, you're a good candidate for War Room. And I'd like to spend some time chatting with you about stuff like that, because the sooner we can make our entire industry stronger is the sooner we all get more attractive, right? It's like we're this battalion of soldiers that right now need to just get stronger, because all these other battalions around us, HVAC, welders, roofers, concrete, are really strong. And the dry cleaning industry needs to get stronger so we can command a different presence and we can fetch more for our businesses. And whether you want to sell it or not, you leave it to your family. It's generational. It's fine. But the reality is the stronger the business you have, the better you're going to feel and the less stressed you're going to become.
Awesome. Well, we're all out of time, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, please check out Ricardo's War Room. Hit us up on magnoli.ai if you're interested. And no, seriously, thanks so much for showing up and for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Justin, for the opportunity, man. This was great, guys. Nice meeting all of you.
It's really awesome.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Justin and Ricardo.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a great one, guys.
Thank you.